this is on, so people can hear you. Don't say anything bad. I don't think you would anyway.
When you talk, stay back from the mouthpiece a little bit.
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it keeps it really clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody else can't get it right. It seems like
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
have to open
But
up.
I noticed with you.
All right.
Stay back. It's perfect.
All right. Thank you.
Actually, we can't hear you ever on on the TV.
Well, now you're going to come in person, right?
Yeah.
I got you back over.
One way or the other. He wouldn't talk about she went on vacation. Yeah, because she had to be gone.
I'm sorry. I tried to make photocopies, but I just recently got scammed like $25,000. And I know a couple other people in here got scammed. So I got this from the bank. She would give it to me. So yeah, I don't want to talk, but maybe you will. And I just talked to my brother in Tennessee. We just got. We got a phone call from someplace else trying to scam him. So I just figured.
Big River gave you this. That's where you
Yeah. But Amazon.
I have something there.
This is live on TV.
So, Ian's gonna make
Your guess is as good as mine. It's probably on your date.
Everyone, for announcement from John Fire.
I get in trouble when I sit anywhere.
I would, because you don't know which way to drive today. You put your fingers in the hole. Did the clock work? Clock work out there?
Yes, thank you.
Can everybody please silence your cell phones?
Call mine.
You see me text, turn it off.
Call mine. Remind me to turn it back on. Yeah, people couldn't call me for 2 days afterwards because I forgot to turn it on. That may be good and bad.
Write yourself a note on your note.
I left it here so that when I pick it up, maybe I'll remember.
Hey, that looks nice, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Is there any way of getting?
For the count?
Are you ever satisfied?
I wasn't talking to you. This is an AD conversation. See your way out.
She's ever satisfied.
Time is now 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, December 13th, 2023, and we are here at the College Clubhouse located at 4801 Lakeside Club Boulevard for our monthly Pine Ridge and Fort Myers Condominium Association Board meeting. Before we recite the pledge, I'd like everybody to take a moment of silence in honor of the memory of some longtime Pine Ridge residents passed away recently, and they are Kathleen Powers, Phyllis Szymanski, Nick Kaidon, Glenn O'Shea, and Patricia McClune. Thank you. That's 5 individuals that will be dearly missed by this community. Now let's stand together and recite the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. And would you please call roll?
Bob Schultz.
Here.
Tom Trino.
Here.
Bob Geisler.
Here.
Bill England.
Here.
Joe Mao.
Here.
Michelle Camp.
Here.
And Ann Urban here.
Was the meeting properly noted?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to waive the reading of last month's minutes?
I make a motion, we waive the reading of last month's meeting minutes. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Eric, do we have anybody signed up for the open forum?
Yes, Kathy Durkin.
4642 Blackberry Drive. Kathy Durkin. Okay, I'm speaking on behalf. I'm speaking on behalf, can you hear me now?
No,
we're
here,
not.
here.
Hello, hello?
Here, just take this one.
I'm speaking on behalf of Pine Ridge.
Be careful, it doesn't go that far.
That's it, Kathy, right there.
Complicated. I'm speaking on behalf of Pine Ridge Free Box. We used to have a boutique, we called it the boutique, but we don't have it anymore. So I created a virtual free box on Facebook, and I'd be happy to put it on our website. So what it is, if someone puts their picture up there, what they want to get rid of, and give it 2 days, we don't get rid of it, then I will take it and put it into the marketplace on Facebook. And I got rid of 8 couches in 2 days, and endless stuff I've gotten rid of, because when you say the word free, the whole world jumps up. So it's not a problem getting rid of it, but what is a problem is trying to hide it in the dumpsters. And then that only costs us money. And so when you're worried about your HOA and you see someone taking a cast iron dining room table or outdoor table, putting it in the dumpster, and you're wondering, oh, what a nice person that is. No, all they had to do is post it on Freebox, and I'll be happy to take care of it. I don't go to your house. You send me the pic, you put it on the Freebox, and then you give me your information, or I'll look it up, whatever. And then, so I don't even deal with you and the people. I send them, after I go through, usually go through like 10 people, because there's a lot of wackadoodles out there. So once I get through the wackadoodles, then I have to give them your information. They don't know your name. They only know how to get you at the gate. Then we have the times. So this isn't like I'm going to your house every day, or someone's going to your house. I do not deliver them until they're ready to pick up, when you give me the pickup times. It's very simple, and it's just so easy to do. I did it virtually from Chicago. I could do it virtually here too. So anyways, I just want you to know I'll be happy to do that. And again, the word free carries a lot of weight.
Thank you, Kathy.
Great idea. And you're 100% about right about the cost of these things that are disposed out there. And once they're in the rain, if it had any value, it's pretty much worthless after that. So thank you very much, Kathy. And again, please don't put your stuff over there at the closed area. We're still undetermined about that situation.
Excuse me, are we thinking that this is the way to go? As a board? I mean, I don't have any, if I put it in the minutes, how are they gonna get in touch with her?
It's on Facebook.
It's on Facebook, in her name, under her name. Under Freebox.
Pine Ridge Freebox.
Okay, thanks.
I believe that's the only person that wanted to talk to us today until we have our social committee presentation. I'll give you an update on the house. It's going to be done Friday. And when I say done, that means it's also clean. So that's a lot of the final processes, the cleaning and, taking care of those messy workers that were in there. It'll be a relief and a welcome sight to bring that to a closure. We've put a lot of time and energy in it. Lately, I've had my brother-in-law and sister have been over there helping with little details and some of the big details, getting this ready and over the finish line. And if it wasn't for the help that I had over the process, it probably would have taken another month. So greatly appreciated on that side of it. I wanted to have an open house on, I was thinking this Saturday of doing that somehow, and then I see the weather report with the rain, and the cleaning crew would pretty much have a fit with me if I had a lot of people going in there trampling it with their wet feet. So we'll look at putting out a notice pretty soon of when we'll open that to the community. And the reason for that is, give everybody an idea of what can be done with a remodel, see where the community investment ended up at. And I think that would be a good thing for the community. On the other side of the coin, we're going to sell it.
How much?
As much as we get, just like anything you sell. If there is, and I know there's been a handful of people looking at it and semi-interested that live in this community. So if any of you individuals that are semi-serious about it and want to take a look at it, contact me or Eric. We'll get you in there. You may give us an offer and we'll entertain it. An offer is a loose thing. We feel that it is going to go for a high dollar for the community. And by that, we all know that there's been condos in here that have sold for a low amount because nothing has ever been done to them. This represents between, I would say, $80,000 and $90,000 of contractor price work. With free labor, you get that for a lot less. So again, if you're interested, contact the office. Otherwise, be on the lookout for some sort of an email blast where we will figure out how we can do a tour of the house.
Excuse me there, Bob.
Yes.
On behalf of the board, I would like to thank you for taking the bull by the horns and running with that venture. And thank you for finishing it up. And I know it's been a chore, but I think everyone here will appreciate it when it's finally said that it's sold and done.
Jackie is probably the driving force behind me.
And I didn't mean to leave Jack.
And Eric. The trash has, it continues to have a lot of concerns revolving around that. And that's one of the things that I know Bob will be helping out and give a lot of input into it. And by what I mean there is we have the closed Treasure Palace that did not work at all after it was closed, and that cost us money and begged favors to get rid of that stuff. And I think I might have mentioned it before that I don't solely believe it's just the residents. I think the abuse is more on the renter side of it. And yeah, it'd be nice to have some sort of a bulk system that's acceptable to the community and actually works for everybody. But to open up a dumping pit for people just to throw their unwanted furniture out when they're done renting, which just recently happened. I mean, that's just disrespectful, yes, to this community. And we want to try to correct that situation as a whole. It's going to take a little bit of planning, and that's where Bob's going to come in. It's been mentioned that, where's the placement of the dumpsters? Well, if we spend $5,000 on a concrete wall for a dumpster that's going to last forever, we certainly want to build it the right way and the right size. The one over here by the Treasure Palace fills up too fast. We are probably going to end up having to put 2 dumpsters in that area. The ones that are 6 feet high that you can only access from the top are very difficult for the height challenged people. And the doors that don't open easy on the side are a concern. The problem is, we seem to be dealing with an organization that doesn't need to have customer service. So they haven't been very helpful. I haven't given up on the window situation, and I hope actually to have a few people come out here. Southwest Windows will be coming out after the holidays. So next meeting, I hope I have at least a little bit of information to give you on that. I'm not sick. I got a sore throat. I went to the doctor for a procedure that everybody in here has had, and I think maybe they put the instrument down the wrong end. They say it'll go away. Eric, would you please present your manager's report?
Yes. We have a lot on the agenda tonight, but there are two main things I want to talk about. First one is crime prevention in the community. I'm sure John's going to talk a lot about it, but we have had someone going door to door soliciting services that they'll do in your home, handyman type work, and asking for cash or check payments up front, and then either doesn't show back up or does a poor job. And this guy has been at it for many, many years. The sheriff's office is aware of it, but do not get involved in anything like that. Please don't give money to anybody. If somebody comes knocking at your door, they snuck in the community and they are not authorized by the association. We don't allow door-to-door anything. We wouldn't even allow the Girl Scouts to go door-to-door with their cookies, so we definitely wouldn't allow something like this. So please be aware. Another thing that was brought to my attention is that there's a lot of cyber security issues and phishing type scams where you'll get a text or an email from somebody that you know, or you think you know, but it's not actually them. It's a scam person and they're trying to get into your bank accounts and your money. Or if you have an email from like Bank of America or Chase, and it looks like a legitimate email from Bank of America, but it's not. It's from a scam person. Please be careful. I was just given this informational form about fraud, this type of fraud from Bank of America. I'm going to make copies of this and have it available for people. And we're also working on setting up a fraud prevention and scam prevention course where some of the sheriff's office comes in and teaches everybody what to do in different situations and the types of scams that they see frequently. But very important. just like we said, lock your doors. There are a lot of good people out there, but there's a few bad people, and we have to protect ourselves against that. And it's very, very important. The next thing I want to talk about is the packet that most of you guys picked yours up on the way in. This is very important paperwork for the association, especially so because we cannot have the annual meeting unless we get 51% of the proxies returned, which since we have 462 units, half is 231, so 232 is the magic number for us. So in your packet, you're going to have a letter from me that spells out everything that's included. One thing I do want to say is for our board of directors election, there will not be an election necessary. We have 3 positions that were up for re-election or election, and we have 3 owners volunteer. And those are Bill England and Michelle Camp. Thank you guys for volunteering to stay on. And Andy Levin is the 3rd.
Andy, would you please stand?
And leaving the board soon is going to be Ann Urban. And I just want to thank her for her wisdom and her directness and helping us, her perspective. She really brings a lot to the board, and we're gonna miss her. She's still gonna be with us.
Ann has graciously offered her advice anytime the board needs it, because she has been a great asset to this community and has been a long-time resident. Thank you very much, Ann.
You're welcome.
Ann was actually on the board. She was one of the ones that picked me for the job, so it's her fault.
What were you thinking?
Okay, so this letter is going to spell out to you everything that's inside with the proxy. You're also going to have a second notice of our annual meeting, which is going to be January 17th. The annual meeting part isn't going to be that exciting this year because we don't have the election counting, but still very important that we have it. It's the members meeting. At the end of that meeting, we're going to have, the board's going to have a meeting right here immediately following, and it's going to be the organizational meeting. And that's when they will vote who's going to be president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. So the 7 board members will vote amongst themselves. We do it a secret ballot here in the past. It's kind of a fun thing and very important. Now this proxy form, this is the form that we need everybody to return. And we provided a stamped envelope, so please return it. You fill in your unit number and or your address here. You don't have to appoint anybody because there's not anything to be voted on or anything like that. There are some basic accounting questions that are on there every year as far as the tax purposes, and then sign and return it. So you can vote any way you like with the questions. Please fill this out, sign it, and return it. It's very important, okay? Limited, if you have questions about the proxy, come and see me. I'm happy to help you guys, and we really need to get 232. If not, we're going to have, then we may be going knocking on doors trying to get people. But so please fill that out. Then you also have the 3 board members or the 3 board members and prospective board, whatever you want to call it. We've included their information sheets, even though you're not voting, so we know some background about the people who are representing you and your community. That's all I have for the managers.
Thank you, Eric. Those would be existing and new victims to the board. Oh, we have some committee reports. And this being, okay. You really want to hear that? They're shaking their head. Bill, would you please give us your treasurer's report?
Yes, I will. Good evening, owners. Tonight's report will be brief since we have to discuss the budget, amongst other things on the agenda. I will report again tonight that our treasury remains stable. We will conclude 2023 over budget, however. This is due to the increase in our insurance premium we have been paying since July of this year. We were able to resolve the largest foreclosure delinquency on our books and collect 100% of the fees and interest owed, which was around $20,000. Since it is the end of the year, I want to recognize all of you who volunteered to help us this year on the budget committee. I want to thank our manager, Eric, for his guidance and assistance on the budget and throughout this year, this being my first year as a treasurer. Lastly, I want to thank my fellow board members for electing me to serve as treasurer, and I'm looking forward to a great 2024. I want to wish everyone here in person and watching at home on TV, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever it is you enjoy saying, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. That was short and sweet.
To the point.
So, like I was beginning to say, it being the end of the year, our last meeting, our last committee report meetings for this year. Our committees are very hardworking, either behind the scenes or conducting meetings, and I hope the community appreciates the direction that those committees have been headed in the recent maybe year, 2 years. Bob Geiser has done a great job with being saddled to 2 committees, of which they'll give you a quicker, longer report on both of them.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Landscape Committee, we'll talk about that first.
Microphone?
Oh. Landscape Committee. As everybody probably has noticed, we got the fountain up and running out front. Thanks to the work of Noel and Dwayne. I was supervising, they did all the work, but they installed all new piping and it's now rubber lined, so we shouldn't have any leaks anymore. And we're looking at now at adding some lighting to it to maybe spruce it up a little more. Last spring, in our landscape committee meeting, we divided the community up into, I think, 6 zones and had members of the committee go out and do an inspection. Had 1 volunteer per section, went out and took pictures and looked at what was wrong. A couple of weeks ago, we got a chance then to work on the first area, and the first one we wanted to look at was the entrance and see what was going on out there. So Noel and Lori and Eric and I took a golf cart and went out and took some notes on what needs to be done out there, and we're planning on removing a lot of the plants out there that aren't doing well or dead and replacing those maybe with something else that grows a lot better. And then down the center, we're looking at, I think, adding a couple trees and getting rid of all those dead plants that are in there, and possibly doing I call it a staged, with lower plants in front, higher plants in the middle, and splitting that area up. And part of that is Noel has been going out and repairing and replacing all the spotlights on the palm trees, all the trees out there. We ran into a problem of not enough electricity, but we've resolved that because we found out we had a bad breaker. So we replaced the breaker, and he was able to actually add some more spotlights out there. So we've got capacity to put Christmas lights up or whatever out there that we want to do. Also want to thank Dwayne for, if anybody hasn't noticed, I call it the bird bath fountain that's right outside the clubhouse out here. Everybody was complaining that it was ugly and moldy and whatever. He spruced that all up and painted it, and I think we're close to adding the water back in again, so getting that started. January the 30th, put it on your calendar. We're going to have a master gardener from the University of Florida Agricultural Extension come in and do a little talk on native plants and whatever else he wants to talk about. But one of the nice things is he's going to come in an hour ahead of time and take a ride through the community and then be able to make recommendations on improvements or whatever we want to do. And I just heard we're going to have refreshments, so that's going to help with the temperature. 2 o'clock, January the 30th. 2 o'clock. Yep. Okay, moving on to the planning committee. We had our first meeting last week. We had 20 people attend, which I thought was pretty good. We first addressed, what is the committee and what do we want to do and what powers do we have. And the first thing we came up with was a list of, I'll call them first priority projects that need to be getting done. Things like some of the things that were brought up are the roof replacements, the garbage enclosures, the pothole at the gate. A long-term solution to that, because our patches are just that, a patch. They don't solve it. They don't last very long. Repairs around the walkway, around the lake, amongst a few other ones. Of course, John had to get in more security lighting. But we're going to take that list then and define each one of those projects, what it's going to take to get them done, what resources are needed, and develop a schedule so that we can look at, do we have the capability to do them in a timely fashion? And if not, what recommendation can we make to the board to improve on those things? So anybody who wants to come is invited to attend. The one thing we stressed last time, it's not a complaint section. It's a working session to help the community. We also saw a lot of people who would like to volunteer. We found that we've got a guy who has a plumbing company, who's a master plumber, who's willing to help us out with advice on any projects that we have. First thing he volunteered to do was, whenever I get a chance, is go around and look at the leaking faucets on the outside of the condo buildings so that we can save water.
Thank you.
And we also, Dennis is here, I think. Yeah, he's back there. Used to work for FP&L. He knows the electrical world, and we need to replace the enclosures on the ends of the building. And his first comment was, yeah, we've got a problem because they're, I'll call it airtight. There's no ventilation, and it's causing all our breakers boxes to rust up. So we're going to be taking a look at that as part of the planning committee. That's basically my two committees for now.
Awesome.
Thank you, Bob.
Yep.
is all about keeping the infrastructure in this community healthy and looking good. Michelle, you've been with us for a little bit, and you're going to be here all the time. Great. You've had some thoughts on conserving water and other things. Do you have anything to address tonight?
No, I don't. Just a reminder to everybody still to, be aware that we pay for our water. So just do your best to conserve whenever and wherever possible. That's all. I did want to make a comment though to Bob, because of the volunteer issue, the fact that we know now we have a master plumber in here, we have somebody with FP&L knowledge. And I want to throw this out to the board, but also to the community. If there are other people with specialties, we're not saying you come and do the work, but as a board, we don't have that kind of expertise. And if somebody has expertise in an area and is willing to at least like maybe either let a board member know or Eric know, hey, this is what I did, before I retired. And if you ever need someone to just talk with or ask a question to, I can make myself available. So I just kind of want to throw that out to the community. We are a real conglomeration of a variety of specialties, and I think we should be able to tap into some of that when needed. We have limited knowledge up here, as broad as it may be, but it's still limited, and I think we need to tap into others. So I'm just about getting the community involved. It's not like the 7 people up here run the show. It's not like Eric runs the show. We all have to take responsibility for our community. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
No, I'll just skip it. We got a lot to do. Yep, John.
Okay, John, we've had a few things go on in this community that I know you want to address. And one thing that I want you to clarify perhaps is who to call when you feel like there's a threat.
Good evening. So Eric's already told you about the con artist coming in. We don't know how he's getting in. He's got a beige Galant. It's a small sedan. It looks like he's living in it. So he was going condo to condo, villa to villa, single family home to single family home. And he's telling you that he can do jobs for you. We're not authorizing him to come in here. He was trying to sell painting and screening. And he's going to ask for cash or a check as a deposit to do work for you. Please never give anybody cash or a check. Call the office and say, hey, I got this guy here. If he looks really shady, don't answer the door or call 911. That's your magic number. He was seeing people out in their lanais and telling them, hey, I can help you and paint that for you, and it won't cost you much. There's a million scams out there, guys. You need to beware. And he's not a contractor. He's a scammer. He has no license. Do not trust him. I know we're all getting old and we want to take care of people that look, like they're on their last wheels. But this guy is a professional con man with a long record in Florida. I wouldn't want him near any of you or inside your houses. Because once he gets inside, he can case the joint, come back when he wants. So please, if you see somebody that doesn't belong here, call Eric or dial 911. Speeding. Please be observant. People do not realize how fast they're driving, especially the Navy guys that are retired. Ed, you want to take a bow, Ed?
It's a rolling stop.
report the speeders to Eric, please. So, walking. Pay attention while you're walking. Do not wear a hoodie or earbuds. You'll never hear anybody coming up behind you. You're going to get jacked and they're going to take whatever you have on you. Pay attention. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. The economy's bad. Walk in 3, 4, I don't care how many. And if you have a weapon, I don't care if you bring your golf clubs. It'll keep them away from you. The gate, no tailgating. And please, don't bring people in behind you. Sometimes that gate comes down too fast and it whacks their car and it breaks our gate. We're making sure we get paid on every one of those gates. And we're going to start upping it more and more. Please, if you're going to have somebody come in, tell them to type your last name into the dais on the visitor side. Just type in your last name. He goes to it, boom, 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 hits it. It'll ring in your house. You answer your phone. You press the number 9. That person comes in. Ring doorbells. You need Wi-Fi to install them. They're good. You can buy I think it was $100 for me for my 5 cameras this year. I see people walking their dogs and letting them do doo-doo and not picking it up. So please. And lastly, please, if there's somebody here that is elderly and you know them, just check on them every once in a while. That's all we ask. And again, please watch your backs. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
I'm going to throw this over to the landscape guy.
That's an item on the agenda, so.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. And don't be scared. We just want you to be safe. We haven't had any serious incidents in here, and we do not want to have any in here. So, for example, if someone's outside of your sliding glass door, maybe in the parking lot, waving to you like they're your friend, they probably aren't your friend. And the absolute last thing you should do is let a stranger into your house, because it could go very bad. So please protect yourself, be safe, be aware. And one side note on that gate out there, that the arm gets knocked off of it, it's a mystery and so on. We've tried and we think we've resolved maybe 50% of it. The arms, the new arms are a little bit shorter from center line, so that if someone were to go through and drift over to the side, they don't clip it with their mirror. What has happened in the past is we, the residents, are coming in. There is a guest going in on the other side. Their arm opens first. That arm closes 8 to 10 seconds after that car passes through the electric eye. At the same time, you're driving through the resident side, you see that both arms are up, so you got a little extra room, and you sway over, and as you sway over, that arm comes down and hits your car. The other scenario that happens is, you notice that sign that's out there by the first speed bump, says stop here until arm comes down. If you pull up behind somebody, you're coming through that entrance way at the same time, you're a legit 10 feet behind. That sensor, depending on the placement of your sensor, reads them at a little bit different spacing. In some cases, you'll pull up there, you'll be what you think's a safe distance behind. The other car approaches, goes up to that second hump. The system thinks there's one car out there. They go through, and the next person blasts through 6 seconds later, the arm comes down because the first car went through. That's why the sign says, wait here till you see the arm coming down. Then you can approach it, the arm will go back up. You won't get hit. It's a $500 arm and probably a $500 deductible, because I guarantee you that arm's gonna do more than $500 damage when it smacks your hood and windshield. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have a number of items to address tonight. First will be a vote on whether or not to approve or disapprove the proposed operating and reserve budget. Do I have a motion on the budget?
Any discussion?
We'll have discussion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2024 operating and reserve budget.
I'll second that.
Any discussion from the board? Start with Bob. Michelle?
Well, I don't like it, but it is what it is, and I think the committee has done the best that they can to hold it down, so no discussion on my end.
Bill's probably talked your ear off on that. Any other discussion? We're all in agreement that we don't like the new prices. We don't like the current inflation, and we don't like it. All in favor?
Wait a minute. I would just like to say something. It's my understanding that after this big jump, which we are going to have to swallow, but that will catch up our reserve funds, because when they were 100% funded, but then everything went up so much, so it ended up they were not. So it's my understanding that will again bring the reserve funds up to where they should be. So it's a bite to swallow, but I think it's something we have to do.
That was one of the things that made this year even more challenging, was that we did get a brand new reserve study and integrating that data into the old data, that just the economy had changed so much it was outdated. It was a big challenge, and good job to the committee. And Bill did a great job. He spent a lot of time on it. So.
And I'll just say, I don't like it either. I mean, but I've got to pay just like everybody else does. But Eric spent a lot more time on this than what I did. He probably spent an extra 50 to 60 hours on his own time working on this at home and here late. And of course, I was here with him on the phone with the guy that we hired to help us with this. It was a chore, and my being the first year as treasurer, it really made me feel even worse. So I apologize it was there, and I tried to warn everybody ahead of time that it was going to be about 20%. So it ended up pretty close to that, and that was a pretty good guess, and that's all it was a guess. But hopefully we won't have near as much on the insurance money this year, but who knows? We're at their own mercy. We have no control over that. Sorry.
We got a Christmas card from the insurance agent. It was really nice. I showed it to Bill. I said, "This is the most expensive Christmas card."
So to Ann's point here, we all know it's the insurance that kicked this out of the park. It's the inflation rate that has affected the other funds. But again, the insurance is the big kicker. I'm trying not to say anything crazy, but we all have the hope that maybe the insurance market will heal and the rates will come down.
And everyone that believes that, give me $5.
Yeah, but actually, this is really a big problem statewide, and the governors even, I mean, it's really a big problem for everybody, and
Yeah.
even the governor's working on it, so maybe that isn't such a pipe dream, we'll hope.
That's what it's gonna take. They're not gonna do it on their own.
Can I make a motion?
Anyways, all in favor?
Aye.
All unanimous, motion passes. Okay, we wanna, second thing we have here is, discuss proposed update to rule number 8, which was mailed out to everybody last month. Just a reminder, Eric, will you please read that rule out loud?
Just to remind everybody, recreational facilities will be used in such a manner as to respect the rights of others. Amenity hours of operation will be posted in the clubhouse. That was the existing. Now added to it, recreational facilities and amenities are intended for the use and enjoyment of unit owners and other approved residents. The board of directors may refuse privileges to recreational facilities, amenities, and community-sponsored events in their sole and absolute discretion, except as otherwise provided by Florida law. Then it has A, no individual may use and access the association's recreational facilities, amenities, or attend community-sponsored events if the board of directors has previously disapproved of such an individual for the occupancy of any unit.
Thank you, Eric. Do I have a motion as to whether or not this rule change should be implemented?
I'll make a motion that we accept that rule change.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And the third item that we have is the colored mulch in this community. Yes, the red mulch that we have had for years. A lot of mixed feelings on that. Bad for the vegetation. When that goes in the beginning, it bleeds the red dye into the parking lot. And we're all of that age that we remember red dye number 5, right? Took it out of the candy because it was gonna kill you. And they might have put it in red mulch, I'm not sure. But we have Bill.
Yes, John.
They put me under too today. Bob.
Yeah. The reason why this is on the agenda is the,
Microphone. Sorry, Mike, I'm just trying to help.
the landscape committee has been talking about this for about a year. And I didn't take a vote, but it seemed to be pretty unanimous with the committee that the red mulch is a problem. I was just given something here. The red is dyed. It fades and we have to replace it every year. The budget this year is $22,500 for mulch. It's a pretty significant item.
And we went over this year.
Yeah, that's why it's higher this year.
Yeah.
It was 16,000 last year, it's 22 this year. We got some prices from Home Depot, and it looks like there's a possibility of a 25% savings by going to a natural mulch rather than a dyed mulch. The dyed mulches from one manufacturer that we got a hold of said that the dyed mulch is made out of recycled, salvaged material scraps of treated or manufactured lumber. Products that contain copper, aluminum, arsenic, lead, chromium, and formaldehyde. So it's not good for the environment. It's not good for the plants. It's not good for the water, the runoff from it that goes into the lake. Another thing is it actually, because it doesn't fade out in a year, it actually will last longer. And we may not have to replace it as much or even spot replace it to cover up bare areas. There's areas that we have piled the red mulch up that's 6 inches thick around some of the trees, which is not good for the trees. So we're recommending that we go to a natural mulch. There's a number of ones that are available. I think probably in Florida, the most predominant one is cypress mulch, which would be a natural wood. We've got cypress trees around the lake, so. And the other thing is it would showcase the plants rather than the bright red mulch. So I would like to make a motion that we go with natural mulch rather than red mulch.
I second the motion.
Any discussion?
Are we getting this in bulk or are we getting it from Home Depot or Lowe's?
Microphone.
I'm gonna have to talk to the landscapers.
Yeah.
about it. I'm gonna have to talk to the landscapers.
We typically buy it in bulk
No, bags.
load.
Yeah.
Bag,
Bag.
bulk load.
We don't
Yeah.
buy it, we outsource it to a company that's all they do is spread mulch.
Loose truckload might end up costing more to have it spread around because you're not just throwing bags here and there, you're wheelbarrowing and shoveling a lot more, so.
I didn't necessarily mean like a truckload of loose stuff. I meant that we're buying it in
By the
bulk.
pallet.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
We're
So
bringing
we're not,
truckloads.
we're not
Bringing
gonna go to a
truckloads over.
distributor like Home Depot or Lowe's
No,
to
we
get
go
their
to
bit.
forestry.
Okay.
We get a huge amount of that delivered.
Yeah. That's how I know big trucks can make it through that gate no matter what.
Okay, motion's on the floor.
The gold natural, is that cypress?
It could be cypress, there's,
I second it.
I'm trying to remember what the other trees are, but, there's other species of trees that they make the natural out of.
Yeah, there's.
I don't know about Melaleuca because that's an invasive plant in itself.
I'd like to call for the vote.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody. Motion passes. Okay, we have a huge topic to discuss. Let everybody know where we're at with this. As you remember, we have this property located behind me. It edges up to our lake. Habitat purchased that years ago, and then Habitat has sold it to another developer that's in negotiations. They have not finalized the deal. Recall this has been on our minds for quite a while. A few months ago, Ann put her foot down, made a motion, said, let's get it. So we assigned Eric to the task of investigating and working on the possibility of that land acquisition over there, so we don't end up as a community with somebody bordering the edge of our water lake. So Eric, could you please explain to the community the situation and the deal that you have negotiated? Where do we currently stand on this issue?
So with the property to the south of us, there's a number of concerns with that development. And we were concerned a couple of years ago with Habitat for Humanity purchasing it and building what would most likely be lower income housing. Turns out that property, as the value is appreciated by 3 or 4 times, and Habitat decided to sell it, and a different developer who plans to develop 254 luxury townhomes, rental townhomes, apartment community on that property. They're going to rent at market rent. They'll probably be more expensive than our units here, but that's not really relevant to us. Tom Trino helped me with this at the initial part because he has a lot of real estate knowledge and experience. But we made contact with Habitat as well as the broker of the sale, and we had a meeting with them, and they weren't really interested in selling us that land or making any type of deal like that, but they were interested in trading us the land and trading it with the ability to. That section of land was intended to be Pine Ridge Phase 2, and the builder sold it off, and it sat like it did for 35 years. And the water and sewer systems were built to extend into that community, and they wanted to hook into our water and sewer, which is a public utility line. It's not owned by us, but they certainly wanted our blessing rather than having some kind of fight on their hands with it. So we got that offer, and I wasn't really satisfied with that because the land isn't worth that much, and it seems like tapping into our water system would be. So at that meeting, I said, well, how much would it be if you couldn't tap into our system? And the gentleman said, well, it might be $1 million. And I said, okay, well, we'll do it for 1/3 of that. And they didn't care for that very much at all. They offered us $0, yeah, $0 and the land, and that was it. So we let some time pass there. We spoke a few times, and they started to get real serious. I guess they were looking at some other options, like the school and some other places to bring their plumbing in from. And this is the best solution for them. So they called me and verbally made some offers, and we told them the things that were of our concern, which I'm going to get to in just a moment. And he said that they could do $25,000 to the community over the phone. And I said, you have to at least double, triple that. You're not even close, I said to him. So then when he sent us back
You're losing the mic.
Yeah, when he sent us back the original offer, it was for $50,000. They'll install some kind of non-transparent 6-foot-high privacy structure between our properties, give us the bike path, something from Lee County Utilities and Engineering that shows it's not going to negatively impact us in any way, and they would pay us at the property closing, the sale closing. We went back to them and we wanted to counter offer that because we had a few things that we wanted also. One, the first thing on my counter offer was $180,000 was the amount that I told them would be our fee. That the fence or wall, we requested a concrete wall. They came back with us. So he offers $150,000. He offered us the bike path, the documentation, and then he would put in that vinyl fence. We requested a concrete wall, and they want to stick with a vinyl fence, but they will own it and maintain it. So if a hurricane comes, they have to fix it at any given time or in a reasonable amount of time. The fact that this is a public utility line is very ambiguous when you look at some of the old maps of whether or not they have the right to do this without our permission at all. So based on the research I've done, I think this offer is too good to pass up, and I would recommend that the board proceed, but I don't know how the board feels about that. If they have any questions.
I would like to
Maybe I'll
make,
answer your question.
I would like to make a motion that we accept the offer that is on the board. However, we need to know exactly how many feet of property we're going to get from our bike path.
Yeah, and that was what I requested also was that, and they didn't have enough time in a couple of days to get the surveyor to do the drawing for us. Another thing that we requested that they're gonna have to comply with is when construction and land clearing starts, I want a construction fence put along the border of our community to prevent any wildlife migration, at least big animals that are gonna be migrating out of that area. We don't want them in our community. And there's a whole list of things that they're willing to do in order to make this happen. If we don't do it, the other outcome could be another developer coming in and not being quite as friendly. So that's something to think about. But it's a decision to make. I think that land is going to be developed sooner than I never thought it would be, but I think it is going to be developed and somebody's going to do it. So.
Will we own that easement?
Yes.
Or release it? Will we
No,
get paid for it?
We have a motion on the table here. Do I have a second on that motion? I'm gonna open it up for discussion amongst the board members.
Little clarification, what was the amount that we will receive?
$150,000.
$150,000.
At close.
At closing.
Not until closing.
But the agreement will specify $150,000.
Yes.
And I think they said they would deed us over the easement,
Yeah.
which I think the easement is 25 feet from our property line.
Yeah, and he may even go a little further than, I asked for
Yeah.
the area that we've been maintaining.
Yeah, plus
So-
they're gonna add some that covers the area
They'll
that
extend it
wasn't
down to-
part of the easement.
Yeah, there's a
which
little
is the
corner that was the
curve
hole in
out
the door,
here.
kind of.
So it's a little bit more than
But
what.
it will eliminate the unknown of having this easement and someday somebody coming in and messing up our bike path. Now we will have control of our full.
Eric, we can't hear you.
Microphone.
For the whole time that I've worked here, one of the main concerns that a lot of people have had is the fact that that's an unknown. We have this easement from back in the 80s, it says we can use it as a bike path, but if some big developer comes in here and doesn't care about us, we may lose that. And that was an unknown that we carried and lived with for all of this time. The money is great. The fact that we're going to have hopefully a good relationship with the neighbors next door and maybe can work together on some things is a good thing. But the main thing is, number one, the separation of the two properties, but also eliminating the unknown of, is that our lake or is it not our lake? Is that our easement or is it not our easement? Is that our walking path or not? You know, it's all well and good to have that old easement from the 80s, but it's a lot better to own your own bike path and control your own destiny. So that's the primary objective, was to acquire that. I thought we were going to have to go in and having to pay to get it. Turns out we're going to be getting paid. So
Actually, this has been something I've been really, really concerned about for over 15 years. Because as he said, it's just, you know, who's gonna buy it and how aggressive are they gonna be to take every inch of the property, including half of our bike path? It has really been a concern, because that's a big important, the bike path is a big important part. And I think this gives us an opportunity to own some property, own the property that'll be ours, that nobody can move in on it and put anything else, it'll be ours.
If you look at the markers, land markers on the bike path would all be theirs because they're over next to the lake, which in the lake, we own the property under the water, but we don't own the water. The county owns the water. So we hope they don't take that away from us. But overall, to me, it's a good deal because we're getting something basically for nothing. We were willing to pay initially and to help build the wall and do some other things. But now they're willing to do this for us. And to me, I think it's a good deal.
The board has been involved with Eric on and off throughout this process. And the one thing that we were all concerned with was the tapping in of our water and sewer system. We got confirmation from the county that according to this individual, there would be no impact on the system because originally this community was built to have phase 2. So they are assuming that the infrastructure put in was built to handle another, I think something like 400 units on that property. But that is not a guarantee. John, you have quite a few thoughts on this. Tom.
I've been involved with Eric on this from the get-go. And first of all, I want to give a shout out to Eric. He has done the bulk of this negotiating with these folks. And as he said in that initial meeting, we went in hoping to just get the land deeded to us, and we would possibly have to pay for the cost of that land or the value. And then when we found out what they wanted to hook into, it's far cheaper for them to hook into the existing tap, approximately where the cardboard dumpster sits out here, than for them to have to go half a mile or a mile south of that property to hook into sewer water. Once we found that out, like Eric said, the guy volunteered about $1 million cost for them to do that. So Eric right away, to my shock, said, well, we think we deserve a third of that. And he thought that was too much, but so did I. So we went in there expecting to have to pay for this. They offered us nothing, just that they would deed the land. Eric asked for 300. And this has been going on for 10 months now, back and forth. They came back with 25,000. Eric said no. They came back with 50,000. Eric said no. Eric said we need 180. They settled on 150, and we'll build this fence to keep the wildlife out. I think it's a hell of a deal. I've looked at the maps and the drawings from the county, and no matter what, if there's ever a problem with that, that's the county's water main and sewer main, and they have to deal with it. So the impact that it would have on us is, from their standpoint, minimal. But even if there's a problem, the county's going to have to take care of any issues. But I wanted you to know, basically, Eric got this community 150 grand through his business acumen and his ability to negotiate.
Yeah, so the way the process works is Eric is our manager, and we direct him on this process. He took the charge of it, and as the process goes on, not to take any credit away from Eric, Eric doesn't decide that 50,000 isn't enough. He says, hey, I got 50,000. And then the board unanimously says, that's insane. Go back and get more money. So we do drive, the process, and Eric accomplishes the process that, is driven.
I'm ready.
We're ready. Okay.
So I'm Johnny Downer.
Yeah.
I believe if they offered us 150, we'd do much better. I believe that the sheet that we have from Lee County Utilities, we need to schedule an appointment with Nathan Beals. We need to sit down and talk to him before we do anything. I agree that we can go into a little handshake here, but until we see something printed out in a document that gives us the exact amount of stuff to cover our, you know what, we need to talk to somebody down there first. It sounds like a good deal. Whenever anybody tells me it's a good deal, it normally doesn't work out. So I'm just saying that we should have a meeting with Nathan Beals. And then after we meet with him, then we will talk to the Facey Long Firm and go from there. I just think that they're trying to take a quick and easy way because they don't want to have to pay the $4 million to $6 million it costs to bring in the water from Tice Street. So I'd like to tell you, I know you might want that 150,000, but I don't think that's enough for what we have. So I will do the handshake, but we need more information.
My understanding that we don't have the time, is that accurate, Eric?
They have a little bit of a deadline. If I tell them that we're like 85–90% there, I think it would be good enough for them to continue, but we kind of need to decide what we're going to do. What I do in situations like this is I think of what are all the possible outcomes that could happen, and one of them is they tap into our water lines and we don't get anything and they don't care about us at all. So if that were to happen, we could try to fight it, but that's very difficult and expensive, but we could do it, and we probably would do it. But those are the possible outcomes. Or maybe nothing gets built there, maybe we save ourselves a couple more years until something gets built. But most likely, that land is going to be developed. It was on the market for less than a month this last time. And, that would be the worst thing, is if we don't do it, and then they end up tapping into our lines anyway because they're public lines.
This is an agreement, not a contract. Is that correct, Eric?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it a legal document?
It says agreement, but it'll be a recorded legal document.
So it's currently an agreement?
No. It's an agreement, proposed agreement. We haven't signed anything. It's a proposed agreement, but basically it would carry forward. Say if something happened with this developer, the next developer would be bound to this also if somebody else came in afterwards. They don't foresee that happening, a deal falling through, other than maybe this factor. But that's where that is.
Could I ask a question? If we as a board vote to accept this, and then, as John suggested, we meet with the county and the water and sewer and find out that there would be a detrimental impact on us.
Well, then we back out of it. Yeah,
We could back out of it, and till we accept our money and sign the papers, we could back out of it.
Absolutely. You guys are just over here at the table, but if you vote yes, we're going to try to move ahead and move forward as quickly as we can. One of the things that Mr. Beal's letter from the county, and he's the planning a new development operations manager. One of the things it says is that it's safe to assume that there'll be no negative impacts on existing water or sewer systems. So that word assume, we know we don't like that, right? To further affirm this though, the developer, and it says in parentheses, your client, meaning the buyer of the property, is required to ensure that no negative impacts will be placed on the LCU system when the project is permitted. So as part of the permitting, they're gonna have to have engineering come out and do all sorts of checks and tests on the pipe and the condition of it and whether it's gonna work or not. We will be paid at closing. Permitting is usually after closing. They can't get a permit on land they don't own. So even if they can't use it, we would get paid. But the overwhelming likelihood is that they will be able to. But you never know, and he does put that in there. So.
Yeah, John, I have a question for you because based on what
Microphone.
I'm at the microphone.
I'm at the microphone.
The letter, the part that Eric just read about what Beals is saying, what more are you expecting that he'll be able to tell us by documentation that he has not said there?
Listen, I'm a conspiracy theory guy. Until I meet Nathan Beals, I'm not believing anything.
So you could call him up on the phone.
Well, he's gonna have to meet with us.
Face
Because
to
we all
face.
have questions.
Yeah, we'll meet them.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem meeting with him. I guess I'm just kind of wondering what more it is. Like if you think it's a conspiracy and that the letter is from somebody that isn't Beals.
No, that's not, that's
Well, then
what John
What am I
meant at all.
missing out on
Yeah.
here?
Just people have to be careful with their words, especially in emails and things like that. And when you talk to someone face to face, you can kind of tell whether or not. I'm sure this guy has integrity. He's worked for the county. He's very high up, but you know, sending us in there to meet with the guy for half an hour and make sure he's legit and we're on the right track. That's probably wise. But,
The suspicion here is, they want to give us land, a fence, and money.
but they weren't
People
willing to
don't
us the
give
money.
you land, fence, and money for no reason at all.
No, we know what
We
the
don't
reason
believe
is.
they could just force the issue without it costing them a lot of money. And we believe that their alternative for hooking up would cost them an enormous amount of money. Meeting with the county commissioner, he wouldn't have any reason not to tell us the truth. He's the person that would say, well, yeah, they want to hook up here because if they go this way, we're going to make them do this, this, and this, put fire hydrants in and all this other stuff. They got to dig the road up. That's going to cost them $500,000. We don't know. And that's what John wants to find out.
It's easier if you can look into somebody's eyes.
Yeah, and he works for us. He works for the county. He works for us. And so I would say, if you're going to make a motion, maybe have it pending both legal review.
Okay,
and
all right.
the county.
I would like to
Legal and
amend
county.
the motion that we accept the offer as we previously stated, pending a meeting with
Mr. Beals
Liz.
from the Lee County Utilities.
All right, meeting with the head of the Lee County Utilities, assuring us that our water and sewer service would not be impacted.
We're not signing anything as far as saying this is 100% what we're doing. We're just giving them an agreement. Yes, we are in agreement with what you want to do. And so they can move forward. It's just like if they come in there and survey, they're not going to make a survey on this property until, spend $40,000, $50,000 to do that if they don't know that we're in agreement. And that's all we're basically doing, is just saying we agree to that.
But that's one of the things. A lot of this legal work it's going to be all there. They have to bear the cost. It could be 10, 20, 25,000 for them to write all this up. And they don't want to do that if we're just going to say no.
Right.
I have a question regarding the vinyl fence. Because I'm a visual person, can someone just tell me what part the vinyl fence will be back there? Like from where to where? Because if you tell me feet, I know nothing.
From one end to the other.
One end to the other, something like what end? Are we talking
Like past the recycle, like where
Right.
there's a natural barrier that people wouldn't.
to this end, over to that
all the
end?
way to
The fence by the school.
park.
To the school.
Okay,
The
so,
whole easement, yeah.
so if that whole area is fenced there, it doesn't go behind
No,
the.
it goes all the way to the freeway wall.
It does go all the way to the freeway wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
The vinyl is in the chain link.
Because they're gonna do
clear-
chain link.
Yeah, they're not gonna
That
clear the
fence
whole,
will go to the freeway.
the whole area, you're gonna have a whole bunch of trees.
So the chain link fence for construction is gonna go from that end all the way to the freeway wall. And then when the vinyl one goes up, it's only gonna be this portion here to block that property.
And that was one of the things, they're not gonna clear all the way up to green cypress, you're still gonna have all that foliage, so the construction fence is only gonna go around the land that they clear.
We have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Very difficult for the projects.
I thought the
And would you
second
please
was-
repeat your motion?
I just amended the original motion that we would, when we speak to the head of the Lee County Water Sewer and are informed that this would be a detrimental act for us in terms of our service, that we would at that point back out. As Bill stated, well, never mind, let me get a second to that motion, then I'll add something.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay,
Any
I
discussion?
just, as Bill, Michelle seconded,
Yeah, you're discussing.
I'm discussing now, yes. I just, as he said, this isn't something this is a good faith agreement, that they know that they can work with us, that we're willing to work with them. But that we're not gonna go ahead with it if we find out that it's a big mistake on our part. So
It's an agreement to proceed.
it's agreement to proceed, yes. That gives them some hope that they could use our water and sewer, that's what it is.
And it's not something that just popped up overnight, but it's such a nuanced issue that sometimes you have to keep working on things behind the scenes until it's ready to give. But Tom knows, we've been working on this for about 6 months.
And was working on it all the way up till 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay, so at some point, we then will have to vote on the final agreement.
If the final agreement satisfies the
Yeah,
voters.
We should have a written contract.
Yeah.
With all the
And
details.
then we'll vote on that at that time. So this is just an interim stage.
John?
And again, that'll be after our attorney looks over the contract.
Yes, and our attorney has been reviewing the loose document that we have right now.
Okay.
Okay, let's take a full vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passes. Okay, now I didn't mean to interrupt you while the board was discussing that, but that's the process that it's supposed to be. It's a board panel discussion, and then at the end of the meeting, we take questions from anybody in the audience that wants to talk about something we discussed tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, wait a minute, 1 second here. We have a social committee announcement. Jolie, please step up to the mic.
I don't need a mic.
Oh, yes, you do, because it's going out to the
Oh,
audience at
yes, I
home.
know, it's going out to the world. Okay, so the social club, I'm just gonna give you the highlights for December, what's going on till the end of the month. This Sunday at 6:30, meet at the clubhouse For the lighting of the luminaries, we have 200 plus luminaries that are going to be lit.
That's great.
And we're going to do our golf cart bike caroling, starting from here. Christmas Day potluck, it's at 12:30. The social club provides the ham. You bring the sides and or dessert. The deadline to sign up is Monday the 18th. New Year's Eve party is, of course, on New Year's Eve. It is from 8 to 12:30. It is $10 per person. We have the 5-piece band again. Bring your own snacks and beverages. And there's a champagne toast at midnight. If you'd like to donate champagne, just let me know. And we also have, this is not technically the social club's realm, but some people do ask us, bocce, shuffleboard, bags, and or cornhole. The sign-up sheets are there. Please sign up so that the people that are running those items, those events, know how many people. Okay? There you go.
Thanks, Joey.
Thank you. Lots of activities going on. I want to say one thing before the audience starts coming up to the mic. Do we have any pickleballers here tonight? Raise your hand if you're a pickleballer. So we've noticed, we've talked about this before. I had a little conversation with the pickleball guys a few days ago about the court. The court is not going to get that makeover that, you know, it's in the budget. It's scheduled for years down the road. I don't know exactly when, but you know, I went out there and talked with them about that pickleball situation, and they said, hey, we can have 4 courts going at the same time. We've got the room, and the tennis net would not be affected. We can do set it up when we play, take it down. A little more of organized, whatever. You don't have any lines there that I know of, and, you know, so on and so forth. So I propose to the pickleball guys that you do the same thing that we've done on other things here, like the bocce ball, and you come up with a plan of painting it green. You guys put the stripes on for tennis and pickleball, different color. Come up with a graph drawing of what that would look like and your predicted material cost. And I'm sure you pickleballers are active enough to come up with the volunteers to accomplish that, and present that to the board so that we can look at your plan and make that playing situation just a little bit better for you. They showed me dips, they showed me cracks, and it's a good thing you know where those are, because you're going to have to play around them for the meantime. With that, who do I have that?
Before we do that, I forgot something. At the last board meeting, we mentioned taking donations for the Christmas decorations.
Oh, yeah.
And I would like to thank all the people, because the last number I heard was $1,030 that was donated for Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
So I'd like to thank all the donors.
We hope everybody likes the decoration.
Yeah, and I hope everybody likes the decorations.
Okay, let's move this on so we can wrap it up. I saw Patrick throw his hand up.
Forgot the question.
I did.
Where are you? Where do you live?
Pat Durkin, 4642 Blackberry. As far as the land acquisition, the real estate, I'm all for it. I think the most important thing is obtaining the land. The price, $150,000, it sounds really nice. It's like $325 a unit.
Yeah.
Double it, 300,000. Now you're talking $700.
But zero is zero.
Zero is zero.
Yeah.
So get the land. We got some extra 150,000 isn't gonna make a difference to this community. There's a lot of money that runs through this.
No, but that's the bonus, is we're not gonna let them hook up.
Bingo.
I mean, we're not gonna give away the house. where
And
they thought we were that they could take advantage of us and give us a little
sure,
$20,000.
and maybe they're still taking advantage of us. But so what?
Right.
Let's get it done. Let's have it in the bank. We know where we're at. And it's a more comfortable feeling than trying to just beat somebody.
And that's why I kept giving them big numbers.
Yeah.
For 3 months, they said Eric Ray is holding him hostage for $300,000. That was, we had to lower it a little.
Yeah, and they do this all the time.
Right.
I mean, this is their business.
Right.
So they know what they're doing. They're not gonna lose any money on this, for damn sure. But this is all new to us.
Right.
So let's get that land. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
And I like the red mulch.
Yeah, goes with your shirt. Ed, come on up.
One thing before Ed starts talking. The next, I wasn't gonna say that, but thank you for confessing. The next safety and lighting meeting will be on January 20th, 2024 at noon in the pavilion. January 20th, 2024. The only reason I remember is he's the godfather in charge of security. Thank you, Ed.
Ed Reed, 4560 Blackberry. I just had a question. During the clearing and construction phase of this operation in the back, they're not gonna have access to our road or,
Not unless we provided it. Maybe we'd provide it for the construction fence if they needed to get over here to put that in first, but not as far as.
The traffic flow going up and down Lakeside.
No. They're gonna be coming off the tight.
And when that permanent fence goes up, is it a permanent fence? There's not gonna be any access to our property?
No.
Thank you.
Not unless they give me an apartment, then I can put a little gate in.
It sounds like the first fence will be probably be a barrier fence that would come down.
It's like a.
But who knows? Maybe they put the actual fence up first.
I just was wondering about whether they were gonna have free access to Lakeside to Dice Street.
No.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
I would just like to thank John Mole for coming to our rescue on Sunday night when that man came to our place and wanted to do work on my twin sister's condo. And then he went to our cousins and wanted to do work. And we understood that somebody didn't realize what was going on, and they paid him, just gave him money because they felt sorry for him. And in 5 minutes, John Mole was over to Jolene's condo, and he caught up with him at that man, or I don't know how many people he would have gone to Sunday night. That's scary. Thank you, John.
There's never gonna be door-to-door people going through here that are approved. If someone knocks on your door in a door-to-door way, no, I'll either have told you that they're coming because it's a contractor coming to do work, or it's gonna be one of us or Bruce. So don't open the door for people like that.
Please do me a personal favor when we have a situation like that, again, you feel something's very suspicious, it just isn't right, or you feel threatened, 911.
Right away.
Then call John.
Right away.
Get 911 here, get the police here. They don't have any problem with one of us old folks saying, false alarm, sorry.
John and I spent a lot of time on the phone with our community resource officer yesterday or Monday. We were on the phone for 45 minutes with him. And that was the main thing that he said is just don't. They're going to do more drive-throughs in here and stuff like that. But yeah, be careful and don't fall for it.
And now the best for almost last, Vicky Fonz, Blackberry Drive.
Thank you. 4612 Blackberry Drive.
Basically, I'll answer either one.
First, the fence that they're gonna put up. They claim they're gonna maintain it. Vinyl fencing will turn moldy after a while. Are they maintaining both sides?
Yeah, that's gonna be one of the conditions that that I want them to own and maintain the fence. We asked for a concrete wall, and they weren't gonna do that. And that kind of made us not want to do the deal. Then we kind of analyzed the situation that on the 4 sides of this community, none of them have concrete walls except for the I-75 one that was put in by the DOT. So it's all fencing all around this community. So we should be okay. They own it, they maintain it. It's going to be like a deed restriction. But if a hurricane comes and it blows down, it's got to be put back up in a timely manner.
But just because there's no fence there now, you put up a vinyl fence, it's not guaranteed to withhold even today's wind.
I realize that completely, and one of the things that I want to be able to negotiate or have a part of the terms is they've already said they're gonna pay for, maintain, and own a vinyl fence. Based on the cost of vinyl fencing for dumpster corral, it's not as inexpensive as you might think. They could put it up, it could get blown down a week later. We realize that. I would like to negotiate in there that, for example, if they're gonna throw $300,000 down on a fence project, that perhaps we would want to look at contributing additional money for more secure fencing.
It's 150 that we're getting from them.
No, because that's the other thing we did. We Googled the price of a concrete wall, and Google thinks it's between $200 and $300 a foot. So we are that has been our thought too, but like we said, we have these other fences around here, wood and such, that are subject to the same storm damage.
Okay, the other thing I wanted to bring up is we all know that our HOAs are going up. When are we gonna get the fence around the pool repaired?
Soon. It's a double.
So meaning in the next 6 months?
That's one of the projects the planning committee is scheduling.
Okay, because I know this one out here, you just
Yeah,
touch it and if the bushes weren't there, it
Bob and
you'll
I
go
have
over.
talked about doing some temporary repair, putting some braces on it or something, to get us by, because the other thing is the pavers affect the fence. We don't want to replace the fence, do paver repairs, and have to tear out the fence to do the paver repairs. So, yeah, we're looking at that.
Thank you.
No cursing.
Is there one little question?
No cursing.
No, sorry, we're done.
I don't curse. Janice Neely, 9540 Green Cypress. Hi. How far off the path is the fence going? This way?
So we're determining that, but it's gonna be like off the path,
It's not gonna be like.
off the
here's
water line,
path and
between
here's the fence.
25 and 40 feet. Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Okay,
it's gonna be a nice, comfortable.
okay, because I know the property line is, like you said, all the way
That's why
into the
that's why
lake.
Pat said we gotta acquire that property.
Okay, thank you.
Michelle.
Hi, Michelle Locke, 4701 Lakeside, and this is related to crime.
Can hear you.
Can hear you. Michelle Locke, this is related to crime. It is illegal to target anyone in this community for harassment. I was targeted this last Saturday at the pool. When I was there with my grandson, the gentleman who is in this room even said he was here to harass grandmothers. Everything he did is on video, so it is very clear that he was harassing me and my grandson. And just be warned, anybody does this, I'm gonna be reporting it to the police. You're gonna get a restraining order, and it's gonna be serious. And the board is behind me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Jackie, where do you live?
First and last.
I live at 4685 Blackberry Drive. I'm Jacqueline Tolles, and I would like to make a comment to Bob. Did you say you were having a horticulturist come out?
Master Gardener.
A master gardener?
Yep.
Would you ever think of asking him what mulch you should be using? He is a master gardener,
Well,
and we are not.
We've gotten recommendations from the Ag Center, I don't know.
I understand.
And they recommended against red mulch.
Well, of course, because it's not a
And the
natural
state,
product.
and the state was the same thing, so.
Cypress mulch would be the choice, but you also said that people are applying 6 inches of mulch around trees. That's choking the trees out.
Right,
You
yeah.
understand that?
Yeah.
And it should be a natural product because natural products will break down faster, and mulch is used to keep the moisture in the soil so the plants survive.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
And the acidity from them will help whatever plants that we have.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
I'm not sure if everybody understands the purpose of mulch. It's just not for beauty, it is for work.
Right. Yeah, it enriches the soil and does all kinds of things.
Okay?
Yeah.
I just want to update everybody.
Does our house like
And without mulch, we'd be paying for a lot of weeding.
Jane Edwards, 9544. Jane Edwards, 9544 Windsor Club Circle. Next to Phil's house.
It's a very soft mic.
Yeah, not to talk loud. It goes on
Yeah.
the video. I remember way long ago when when it was first built down by the dog park on Green Cypress Road, that one of the things that was showcased was that back there is a cypress head and it can never be built upon. So does that fence give us the cypress, if it's even true, if that gives us, does that give us the cypress head, or are we giving that up?
I'm not even aware of this. We'll have to look at that.
Okay. And how high is this fence?
What I want the contract to say is the tallest that code will allow. That's the tallest that will legally allow.
Okay.
It's either gonna be 6 or 8 feet, that's the tallest. That will legally allow.
Thank you.
Skip, come on up.
Hey, it's hard for me to say, but I agree with Durkin. You gotta get the land.
Could you repeat that so the audience at home could hear?
What, did I agree with Durkin?
That's the part, yeah.
You gotta get the land. I built Kelly McGregor, I built Pepper Tree Point, Mandolin Bay. I had to build walls, pumping stations, buy hydrants. I don't need you for that hookup. It's already in place and it's public.
That's what I'm
I can
saying.
go completely around you.
That's what I'm saying.
Get the land before you make a boo-boo.
Get the land, that's what I'm saying.
Money was just a bonus.
Well, if you look at the other.
Blow that land because you're greedy, you're gonna make a mistake.
Is that the last word?
Please, I'm hungry.
I would like to move we adjourn this meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Piles are in alphabetical, not alphabetical order, but they're sorted now by letters. So it might be easier to find something so you can sign up.
Thanks for coming.
And turn on your cell phones.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
I wrote down the plan. There would be room on the back.
Andy.
Cut the camera, Andy.
Andy, will you turn the camera on YouTube? Will you hit me?